It's been 3 months since we started this series about the unheard voices of tobacco harm reduction in Canada. 3 months of waiting for the border to reopen. Now, after 2 vaccine shots, delays in the border reopening, a border police strike, and a hurricane, our team finally made it to Canada on the hunt for answers. As I climbed to the top deck of our boat to Nova Scotia, the fog quickly surrounded us. Jim and I were hoping to get some footage, but St. John and New Brunswick disappeared under the fog. As the boat left, visibility dropped to less than 10 meters. Unable to see the horizon, Jenny got very seasick. This series has been like a trip across the Bay of Fundy, disorienting, unclear, and most of all sickening. No official responses to the science presented. Few listening to the experts. Here we are. In 2019, Nova Scotia unexpectedly banned the majority of nicotine products researchers have shown to be most effective for quitting smoking. They also placed large sin taxes on the remaining nicotine vapor products. As expected, cigarette sales went up in 2020. The rest of Canada is now following their lead. We went to talk with Chris, a shop owner who has seen the impact of these regulations while running a specialty shop that helps people quit smoking.
It's been a rough couple of years for Nova Scotians that are just trying to stay off cigarettes. I mean, they've added a heavy tax, 50 cents per milliliter. So for example, that takes a $24.99 bottle of juice in our store, and that adds an additional $30 tax. So as of September 2019, our tax went from our 15% on top of all this as well. So there's $24.99 plus 15% plus an additional 50 cents per milliliter, which is $30 per bottle. So you're saying you're up to $54.99 a bottle from $24.99. So that's completely unaffordable for the average person.
The sin tax in my province of British Columbia, we already have a 20% tax on all vaping products. If the federal government brings in an additional 20%, that's going to be a 40% tax on products, which will make them prohibitive for a lot of people. You don't want the product that's going to help you get off cigarettes end up being the same price as cigarettes.
Before I left for Canada, someone sent me an article in the Financial Post called Health Canada's Nicotine Caps Will Kill People. It was written by Dr. Ian Irvine, a professor of economics at Concordia University in Montreal. I was eager to hear his thoughts on the science impacting consumer choices today in Canada.
I've been a researcher who has been interested in tobacco and alcohol for a few decades now, and I've written a number of research papers, and many of those have been published in the health and economics journals. So when new products in the tobacco area came along, it was pretty natural for me to want to gravitate over to examining what role they were going to play in the marketplace. We think about the role that prices play. If a price for a good is high, people are going to demand less of it. If a price of a good is lower, then they're going to demand more of it. And if you've got two products which are quite close, then if you can price one of them at a lower level than the other one, people are going to be enticed to buy the one that is priced lower.
Dr. Abigail Friedman from Yale is another economist I recently spoke with.
And an economic substitute, just to make sure your viewers are clear on this, is something where if you make one product harder to access or more expensive, people tend to buy more of the other product. It's exactly what you would expect as an economist who's studied these and seen repeated analyses of policies showing that when e-cigarettes are made less attractive, less available, or more expensive, we see more smoking.
Massively increasing taxes on products Canadians use to quit smoking leads to more smoking. As you probably know, more smoking generally equals more death. You might be wondering, why are authorities in Canada pushing for more taxes then?
Most of the policy measures are directed to reducing the use of vaping and other reduced harm products by youth, and they're not sufficiently focused upon the potential that these products have for the smoking population.
Smoking population. These are our neighbors from all walks of life. As we learned while interviewing top experts from around the world for the documentary You Don't Know Nicotine, there are a variety of ways that people's brains utilize nicotine. It helps prevent or treat a variety of diseases. Using it in a safer form is a good thing.
You know, we have customers, we have police officers, we have CRA, federal tax employees, we have government provincial employees, we have ambulance drivers, we have doctors, nurses. The list goes on of customers who have used our services and our support to quit smoking, and yet they've never once explained to the population why the tax increase has happened. And I mean, telling the average nurse or paramedic that they need to pay $54.99 versus $24.99 is unrealistic. And their only answer is that, well, teens can't afford that.
If you look at the vaping rates right now among teens in Canada, those rates are actually very low compared to the smoking rates that were present in the 1990s. So if the people who are making these policies, the parents of present-day teenagers, those parents were smoking enormous amounts. Daily smoking back in the 90s in both Canada and the United States in high schools was 20-25% daily smoking. Today we have daily vaping rates of about 5 or 6%. So we've got a much smaller fraction of the school population vaping than we had in the 1990s who were smoking. So I think we have to keep this in perspective. Yeah, too many kids are experimenting with vaping, but we have to keep it in perspective.
There is way too much cautious language by myself and others speaking out about this. In my eagerness to maintain perfect accuracy, I've been a part of the problem. The truth is that few teens use nicotine vapor products if they weren't already smoking. For the other teens, dabbling with nicotine vapor products is a fairly low-risk activity compared to smoking cigarettes, smoking cannabis, drinking alcohol, or even drinking energy drinks. Canada has a massive problem with underage binge drinking. Approximately 1 out of 5 Canadians older than 12 were reported as heavy alcoholic drinkers. Perspective matters. Discouraging Canadians everywhere from using the most effective ways to quit smoking in order to prevent a small number of teens from using nicotine vapor products might be good fundraising material for cash-strapped health charities, but it is not good health policy. On top of that, placing sin taxes on helpful products sends the wrong message.
It's not just a question of pricing these products favorably relative to cigarettes. It's also a question of making smokers and society at large aware of the fact that it's combustion that's doing the damage, not the nicotine. We have to maintain a price differential, and this has to be reflected in tax policy. We've got to maintain a price differential at the retail level so that there's an incentive for people who are smokers to move over to the reduced harm product. A lot of smokers are in low income categories, right? And smoking takes up a big chunk of their budget. So if we could simultaneously make them aware of the fact that there is a safer product, make them aware of the fact that it's taxed at a lower rate, assuming we can implement lower taxes, and then provide a variety of these products, then there's a good chance we could take a large percentage of the existing smokers and move them over. Most of the measures that I see coming out of provincial health ministries and from the federal Department of Health are designed to limit vaping, and they are, in my view, missing out on the opportunity to use these new devices to help smokers get off what's going to kill them at the end of the day with a high degree of probability.
As they say, nothing is certain in life besides death and taxes. However, we don't need dangerous taxes that lead to more death. Life is hard enough.